Welcome to the Leedz Edutainment Podcast, featuring in-depth interviews with people in hip-hop culture, based out of New England. Leeds. How we doing, brother?
Good.
Straight from work to the podcast?
That's it, B. Keeping it moving.
Which job were you working?
I was working at the shop at L's.
L's, huh?
Yeah, man.
We're definitely going to talk about that, but I'd like to welcome everybody to the Leedz Edutainment Podcast. We got a very special guest this week, Southern New England's own Lord Gremithy, aka Rennie Grem, aka Dirty Furby, aka what? Gremlin?
Hey, Dad. You know what I'm saying? Dad.
What's
Grem.
the other? Daddy Grem? Is that what it is?
My Lord. You know what I mean?
My Lord.
My Lord. Yeah. That's the abbreviation. Quick sum. Yeah, man. Blessed to be here. Shout outs to DirtyDurdie. It's the crew. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm chilling, man. Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, Leedz. Always
Absolutely.
good seeing you.
Yeah,
And,
last time we talked, I was like, man, this guy's working his ass off. I got to get him on the show.
yeah, I'm happy to be here, man.
I respect people that put in the work, you know what I mean?
Thank you.
And you are definitely a man that has put in the work. Am I right? Born and raised New Bedford, is that right? Massachusetts?
Correct. Shout outs to Ben Gilbarg. I was part of the Third Eye Unlimited movement for a very long time in my teenage and early 20s. And it's basically where I learned a lot, you know what I mean, in terms of like event coordinating, putting on shows, putting on video production. I learned how to edit films and work a camera, write sponsorships, and I'm like a teenager in high school, you know what I mean? So like having that opportunity to be an activist in my community really catapulted me to being the entrepreneur I am today, you know?
Yeah, I want to talk about Third Eye Open because, I hadn't heard that name in a while until I started looking at your stuff. And I remember seeing that name all the time when I was first starting out doing events. Talk about the history of Third Eye Open and how it started and how it worked and everything, because it's been a while. I'd love to refresh my memory.
So, once again, Ben Gilbarg is a gentleman who's one of the co-founders of Third Eye Unlimited, which was a youth hip hop organization that was nonprofit that was based out of the city of New Bedford. And one of the big things that we used to do yearly was this festival called the Third Eye Open. And basically what that was at Buttonwood Park in New Bedford. It would be an all-day festival with 3-on-3 basketball tournament, live performances, slam dunk contest, live graffiti painting, 3-on-3 breakdancing competition, community activists and community vendors, DJ battles, you name it. Like any and every element of hip hop was represented properly. It started being a local headliners, and then it grew to getting people like KRS-One, Wordsworth, Slick Rick, and all for free. So you know what I mean? And we were going consistently for about 15 years. They started it back up, but it's a lot smaller than what it used to be. But nonetheless, man, like it was an amazing time to be a part of that and to like be that young and make something that important happen in a city where there was nothing going on. Because right now New Bedford looks and feels a lot better than what it was when I was growing up. And I do want to say that my generation helped, inspire these changes that you see a lot in downtown New Bedford right now. So, shout outs to everyone who's a part of that movement, because there's so many people, you know what I mean? Like, and one my partner in rhyme, Dirty Ice, was an original member of Busted Fro, and that's how I met him. And we're still rocking till this day. You know what I mean? Still active in the scene. It's beautiful, man.
It is. I want to talk about what you just said, that New Bedford's a lot different now, because I can tell you when I grew up in when I moved to Boston about 20 years ago, there wasn't a lot of positive talk about New Bedford. I'll tell you that much. It was kind of like, ooh, New Bedford, Fall River, like, ooh. Like, I didn't know anything about, I never even went there.
Yeah, you either knew about it or you didn't know about it. It was like either two, you know what I mean? Now it's a lot more comfortable to say, hey, I'm from New Bedford. You know what I'm saying?
What was the
But,
problem? What was the problem in New Bedford?
I mean, kind of like any other city, man. It's a lot of, violence, drugs, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I grew up in the South End of New Bedford, Monty's Park area. So, I was around a lot of stuff growing up. You know what I mean? And luckily, I was blessed to be raised by a village who inspired me to be the opposite. You know what I mean? Like I was always like different like that. If everyone was rocking Nikes, I was rocking N1s. You know what I mean? So like, hey, you
Really?
guys want to do that? I'm gonna be over here rapping. You know what I mean? So, and and like any other city too, man. Like New Bedford was always still a beautiful place. You know what I mean? Especially when you're from there, because it's a small city. So it's not a lot. It ain't like it's more violent than any other city in America. It's just on a smaller scale, it feels bigger. You know what I mean? So it hit home for a lot of people when something bad was to go out. And unfortunately, that's all you really saw on the news too at that time, was only the negative portraying New Bedford. You know what I mean? But organizations like Third Eye Limited changed that. Like we made people start really looking at the youth, more importantly, in a different light. Like, wow, there is actually some positive youth coming from the city doing some amazing things. And it's just a testament to see what you're able and capable of doing when the community comes together. You know what I mean? We've changed so much in that city for a positive. You know what I mean? For the greater good of everybody. And it's just beautiful to still be around and still see some of those people still working too.
Nice. I'm just gonna say one thing about your dog. I'm picking up a little
Yeah.
thing on his collar. I don't know if you can take his collar off temporarily. That all you can do is take his collar off.
Come here,
I just
baby.
don't want to distract your what you're
Sorry
saying.
about that.
No, it's all good. I got a dog too.
Yeah, you go. She's like, what's the matter?
Just take the collar off and we're fine. Because it's just gonna jingle. And then just be careful. One thing, when you're moving stuff on your desk, it picks all that up. So just keep that in mind. No big deal. But that's great that Third Eye was able to do that. And when was it founded? When did it start? What year?
I want to say 98.
Wow, so it started before me.
Yeah, it originally was a television show called Put Out the Word. So they used to have like a half hour or 1 hour public access television show where they aired like music videos that certain labels would send us, and then we'd also go to events. Like in the beginning, like Ben would go to a lot of Boston, Providence, Connecticut events, tape artists like Eminem when he was coming up, Tribe Called Quest, Mos Def and Talib Kweli. So for me as a youngin going on public access, seeing this, and this is from my city, I'm like, what is going on? You know what I mean? Like this is crazy. Like I can't believe that this guy is bringing this to us, and we were airing. When I got involved, it was around 2000. So it was like 2 years into it when it was already happening. And we were airing in Boston, Worcester, Atlanta, I think Portland, Maine, Providence, Rhode Island, like just syndicated in those cities. So that's how a lot of our buzz got out. Hence the word, put out the word. So it was always hip hop based and youth led. And I think that was the beauty of it, because that's what hip hop truly is. You know what I mean? It's a youth led movement. And we made a lot of noise, man. And a lot of people don't know that history about me. I don't really like showboating too much, but if you know, and
I know.
yeah, no doubt.
I mean, I kind of know. I knew about Third Eye. I didn't know your involvement in it. I knew about Third Eye.
Yeah, Third Eye has been around for a minute, man. And again, like I've gained a lot of knowledge. I've met a lot of good people. That's how I got familiar with a lot of the Boston scene, like especially break dancers, like floor lords, and events like Spin Factor and stuff like that. Like I was going out there very young. So
shout out Lino from the floor lords.
Shout out to Lino, shout out to everybody, my man Crazy Freddy. Like there's so many heads out there that this hip hop thing is beautiful, man.
Lino is like currently in Hawaii, I think, right now.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Shout out to El Nino, you know what I mean? And
He's carrying the tradition on out here.
Absolutely, man. Like his
I saw that
studio.
your son. I saw that your son's been doing some breakdancing too. You got him in early, huh?
Yeah, man. I mean, bringing him around the culture, he just adapted to it. It was nothing I had to force on him, and
Yeah.
he just wanted to learn more. And luckily, my connection with El Nino, he was like, "Yo, I'm teaching kids at my new studio I'm opening." I was like, "Bet." So we're actually going out there today.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
El Nino is Spanish for the Nino.
Yeah.
Never seen that skit? Have you seen that
Yeah,
skit?
yeah,
Chris
yeah.
Farley. He's the
Yo,
wrestler. El
classic.
Nino. Sorry. I can't not mention that joke and hear the
Yeah,
word
that
El
was
Nino.
that was an open lane right there. Yeah, no doubt.
Sorry. And shout
No,
out
you're good.
Nino because I love those dudes. But
Yeah, man.
so did you find yourself being from New Bedford, spending more time in Rhode Island or Boston? Because I know it's like a thin, like I've always thought of that's like you're right on the cusp there, like of what's Providence or Boston for you, you know?
It's both, bro. Like I love both cities. I've never been that person to be like I'm representing one. Like for me, like physically, Providence is written on my birth certificate because I was born there physically, but I grew up in
Oh
New
wow.
Bedford. I grew up in New Bedford from the day I was born until 19. Then I moved to Florida for a little bit for school, and then I came back to Rhode Island. But I'm always in and out of Boston, and like I'm always representing both states. I like to say that Dirty Dirty represents Southern New England, period. You know what I mean? Because my man's in Connecticut for the last 2 years now, and like we're just from New England. You know what I mean? Like I don't even
No,
like
I'm big on
you
that
know.
these days because I like saying New England hip hop and the New England
Mm-hmm.
scene. I don't really like saying Boston scene anymore because I did that for so long and there was just so much controversy with that from people from Boston and not from Boston. And it was called Boston hip hop because most of the shows are in Boston. But as time has gone on, I'm like, nah, this is more of a New England hip hop than just a Boston hip hop thing. So I prefer the term New England hip hop because all the states working together is a much more powerful thing as well, more unity that way.
Exactly. And that's what always been my biggest thing too. Like it's like shout outs to the rap night out in Shanskeen. You know what I mean?
Oh
There's
yeah.
even people up there, you know what I mean? My man that represents Monday of Minds. Like there's so many like hip
In
hop
Maine,
entities.
in Maine,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Out in Maine, Portland, Maine, be holding it down for many years in hip hop too. Spots of New Hampshire. Mr. Burns is another one. You know what I mean? I saw him
Vermont,
at the Little Brother show. You know what I mean? Shout out.
Vermont. Oh, he was
Yeah,
there?
Vermont
I
as
didn't see
well.
him.
Yeah. So for me, like all together, all 6 states, it's been time. You know what I mean? That the all 6 states come together and start pulling resources and
Yeah.
really
Oh yeah.
coming together as a unit because we're gonna make a lot more noise that way than trying to isolate ourselves. Because you look at scenes like the DMV, they don't do that. They're supporting each other around that area. You know what I mean? Or even down south, or like there's just up here is time. You know what I
Well,
mean?
it seems like there's more opportunities now than there was like 20 years ago.
That's
In
very
20 years
true.
ago, it was you had to be in Boston, really. You know what I
That's
mean?
very
But you
true.
could do a couple things. I mean, I was from New Hampshire. I spent my formative years there. There's nothing going on there. Nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's
No
very true.
shows. There was hardcore shows in churches, but there was no hip hop shows. You know what I mean? You had to drive
Hardcore
through Boston.
hardcore shows in churches.
Yeah, yeah,
Whoa, that's that's
yeah.
that's some that's some groundbreaking stuff right there.
All ages hardcore show in
Oh
churches
my goodness.
and churches and what do you call it? What do you call the town halls and
Oh my
wherever they
goodness.
could get really talk
That's
about.
great.
But hip hop and I saw my first hip hop show in Providence because Boston wasn't even able to do hip hop shows in the 90s at all.
Yeah.
So my
Providence had
first
a solid scene, man. It still does.
Providence
Absolutely.
Providence Civic Center, Biggie Smalls, Mobb Deep, Craig Mack, Method Man was supposed to be there, didn't show.
That was your first show?
First hip hop show, wildest show I've ever been to in my life.
I could imagine, man. That's the
I've
way to
told the
start.
story many times. It
That's
was a
the way to
huge
start,
riot,
bro.
huge riot, and it was the most chaos I've ever seen in a show. They kept it going though. The show kept going.
Yeah, they're like, yo, there's money out there. They're like, nah, keep this. That's hip hop back then too. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
very like chaotic. Like nobody knew what to expect from a lot of these artists, and I wish I was able to go to shows like that. You know what I
It was
mean? But
95. I went to see that in 95
yeah,
over the
I'm
summer.
still a little young. Like how old was I? I was like 9 in 95. To be honest with you, that's when I started really like getting into hip hop. Honestly, you know what I mean? Like 95, then 98 is when I started writing and freestyling, and then the rest is history. You know what I mean? And
So is the first thing you did Dirty Dirty?
no, dirty. The first thing I did was like my solo stuff. I was called Gremlin back in the day, and then I had a
Gremlin
group,
or Remlin?
Gremlin. Yeah,
So
which
let me
is
stop you right there. Was this just an infatuation with the movie? Is that where this
no,
came from?
no. This was actually me being petty and turning a diss into something cool. You know what I'm saying? Because some kid dissed me, was like, "Yo, you look like a gremlin." So I was like, "Oh,
Really?
I bet." So and then my actual first rap name actually was the Boogeyman. Like
Yes, dude. The
I was 12 years
Boogeyman,
old.
dude.
I was
Yeah, we
12
love
years
first
old, and
names
I think I
around here.
called myself the Boogeyman for like 6 months or something crazy like that. And my first rap group was called 54th Regiment, which was based out of a regiment from New Bedford during the Civil War times. It was like an all-black regiment that fought in the Civil War. So
So
we ran off of that, and it was me and two other people, and then they stopped, and I kept going. And then I got involved with Third Eye Unlimited and joined another group with this guy called Pontius. And we used to be called SRHM, which was Society of Righteous and Harmonious Mics. So I've always been like intellectually involved musically. Like I always wanted to make people think when they're hearing my rhymes and put quick references in there. So people be like, oh, he was talking about, you know what I mean? Like real hip hop. Like that's the things that raised me, finding ways to put messages and gems into bars and just send it to the world. And then Dirty Dirty came around after I left New Bedford and moved to Rhode Island. He was actually, my partner was in Long Beach. He hit me up. He was like, and this was after Busted Fro as well. So we're both kind of free agents. He got up with me. He moved out to Providence, and we started rocking shows out here in Rhode Island, and then slowly gravitated back towards New Bedford, and then started reaching out to Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Connecticut, New York, you know what I mean? Like circuits that we could drive to. And, you know, so far so good, man. We still alive, still out here breathing
how do
and
you
rapping.
pronounce how do you pronounce your partner's name?
Demean Cyron.
All right, because I
He's
didn't want to screw that up.
nah, so yeah, yeah, no doubt. Demean Cyron, aka Manatee the Sea Cow, Golden Sasquatch. Like as he likes to
Golden
call himself.
Sasquatch. I love that.
Yeah, we're kooky like that, man, and we have fun with our lyrics. We've been together as a group for over 10 years, friends for 25 plus. Like I've learned so much from him with the pen game too. Like I don't know if you listen to his music a lot, but he's pretty intelligent and very witty with the pen. So for me, all of these years having to catch up and keep up to that kept me sharp. You know what I mean? And vice versa, because sometimes I'm sharper with him with the freestyles. You know what I mean? So it's like we keep each other very balanced. And we've just been making waves. We got a nice solid catalog that we're pretty proud of. Like the other day, we were doing a pop-up, and we were playing our music for like 3 hours. Like, whoa, like it's like we really, you know what I mean? We came a long way, and we're still working. We still got new material that we're gonna be dropping this year. He's a producer as well, so he'll be dropping some music to coincide with L's music to smoke to. Nice, cool instrumental album that we're gonna be releasing on the Dirty Dirty. So we're still staying active, you know, staying quiet, but still making these moves and sniping when we got the chance, you know.
The music is described as comical, conscious, and controversial. What is so
Correct.
controversial about it?
I would say our content. You know what I mean? Like we like to
What are
bring.
you saying?
I mean, we bring the dirt to the surface. So like we have songs ranging from talking about domestic violence to talking about politics to healthy co-parenting. Like that's where it gets controversial. You know what I mean? Like the way that we,
Co-parenting, definitely.
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Co-parenting is
it's
tough,
a
but
controversial topic.
yeah, you know what I mean?
I'm
So like we
co-parenting a
like
dog right now, and that feels controversial.
it's tough, bro. You know what I mean? Exactly. So just imagine a human being, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
But
can
like
only imagine.
Yeah, man. So we like to talk about topics like that. The beauty of Dirty Dirty is that we don't curse in our music at all. So that's one thing that people don't even notice because of how raw some of our content is. You know what I mean? Like one of our first hooks from a song called Hot Garbage when we first came out in like '08. The hook was put your finger in your butthole and smell it. Nah, we're kidding, but throw your hands
Whoa.
up and make noise. This ain't a sit-in. We're Dirty Dirty because that's the way that the game is. We got that hot garbage. Why can't we be famous? So that's how we were coming at it at first, as being like a parody to all of the hoopla and the flashiness of what hip hop was. Like, if I could rap about shooting your brains out of your head, how is that grosser than me talking about farting? You know what
Or
I
ass
mean?
play.
Like,
Or ass play.
exactly. You know what I mean? Like, so that's where we're
The
at.
ass play, dude. You got to
Yeah,
open it up with the ass play.
exactly. So that's, so that's where we were coming with it. That's why we're ironically called Dirty Dirty. We don't curse, but yet we talk about some real life stuff that needs to be talked about.
Oh yeah.
Like ass play.
Yeah, it's some real ass shit. We need more ass play. I was just thinking about this.
You
Not enough
know what I
rappers talking
mean?
about the ass play. Chris Rock had a funny line in his last his stand-up. Did you see his last stand-up?
I did. Yeah, yeah. It was
He's like,
pretty
I'll eat
funny,
it.
man.
He's like, I'll eat a girl's ass, but I won't hold their hand.
Yeah, like I remember who I hold a hand to it, but yeah, that's real,
He's
man.
like,
It
I
was
was like,
classic.
yo,
Classic Chris Rock.
you guys opened up for some big acts.
Yes.
Busta Rhymes, KRS One, Griselda, Mos Def, Rakim, Rex, Planet Asia, Marlon Craft. I mean, this is all. Those are some pretty heavy hitters.
Thank you, man. Yeah, we've been blessed to rock any opportunity we get, and I think the best that people can get from us is our live performance. I think that's where we shine the most, which is where we're the most comfortable and how we're the most dynamic. You got my short, energetic ass and his tall, cool, smooth, you know what I mean? Bouncing off of each other, catching each other's words, getting the crowd involved. You know, we've rocked for people who've never seen us before and they're mouthing our words with us. You know what I mean? Like just rocking with us. And especially for that Marlon Craft show that we did last summer at Sonya. And I just love Cambridge, man. Like there's such a live vibe out there. It's always been that way forever. And, I just love rocking. You know what I'm saying? So for us,
Well,
we're
the two MCs chemistry helps the energy a lot more than just one MC.
absolutely. It
Like
gives
when
it
you
that
got two
traditional
people
feel.
up there, it's like such night and day between one MC. Even a hype man, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, hype man's cool, but two MCs going.
Yeah,
better.
being each other's hype man, and also it's a different dynamic, especially when we have a DJ behind us too. It just brings it back more to that essence of like two MCs and a DJ rocking. You know what I mean? And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of duos out here. There's not even a lot of groups lately, like on a major level, like recently or new. That I mean, besides like Migos and stuff like that, there's not a lot of groups. There's a lot of solo acts I've been noticing that are getting pushed nowadays. So we're bringing that element too, like representing for the groups out there that have people come together and make something unified and beautiful.
Yeah, I work with a group, Black Medine. They're a duo as well.
Nice. That's what's up. Yeah, we got to collab.
Good chemistry. Good chemistry there.
Sounds like a nice
and I always say
collabo
that
right
because
there.
yeah, no, it's the back and forth energy goes a long way. And in the 90s, in the early 90s, when I was talking to Master Ace, he was like, all the big successful acts in the early 90s were groups. It's like everything easy, even Dr. Dre, even though that was like his soul, it was Bill's, marketed as a solo project. It wasn't, it was a group. It was like a bunch of people on it. And that's what everybody was. That's the inspiration behind his Slaughterhouse, Master Ace Incorporated.
Yeah, man.
I think over the time, it's tough to maintain a group though. At the same time, like personalities, strong artistic personalities, money, stuff like that gets in the way. So it's easier to be one man show, but having that extra input in your music, another person to bounce things off of will make you sharper. And I think makes the music better in a lot of ways.
I agree 100%. I think that's what kept us continuing to go. You know what I mean? Being able to still bounce off of each other. The fact that, our friendship keeps growing, our brotherhood keeps growing. We're not trying to do nothing shady to each other. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
just even
key.
even
That's
outside,
key.
yeah, even outside of the music. Like, I've known this dude for going on 25 years. You know what I
That's
mean?
awesome.
Like, that in itself is a blessing, you know. And I'm blessed to have a couple different people I've known for that long. You know, and there's not a lot of people I know who can say
Well,
they still have. You know what I mean?
that speaks highly of you then, you know what I mean? Because that
Thanks.
means you're not a shady character, because if you did, they wouldn't be still around.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, man, that's true. I ain't got time to be shady, man. There's too much cover up to, you know what I mean? Like, we gotta make moves, man. You know.
No, you know,
And
you also
you
do
move better. You move better with love than with hate. I always say. You know.
the ultimate weapon. Um,
Absolutely.
you do solo music too after Dirty Dirty.
Yep.
Your
Well, we're still
sound,
together. We're still
yeah, no,
together.
I'm just saying, like, you do side, well, you know, whatever, side
Yes.
solo, whatever, you know what I mean? They put out some things since then, and you know, when I hear you, I hear just true school vibes. You know what I mean?
Word.
When I listen to your music, like especially the solo stuff, it's just like, it just reminds me of just true school music. You know what I mean? Like, it's just the classic 90s golden era sound, 80s, late 80s. Is that the point of it? Is that what you're trying to do? Because that's what I hear. Not with the Dirty Dirty, more with the solo
More
songs.
with the solo. In a way, yes.
Because
I
the
would just
beats
say
are
I'm just
very
trying to.
boom bap beats.
Yeah, I mean, I do have a taste for certain sounds and music, and in terms of hip hop. I can breach out into other lanes. You know what I mean? But I think for the most part, I stick to the cloth of what I grew up with. You know what I mean? And
Right.
that's just bars over dope beats. You know what I mean? And creating songs as well too. Like, I like really writing songs. Like, it's one thing
Concepts,
to rap about rap. You know what I
rapping
mean?
and
Like,
rap.
but yeah, rapping about being a rapper and raps. But it's different when you're trying to put a story together, or when you have a concept that's brand new and creative, and just using your brain a little more when it comes to the creation of the rhymes. You know, I would say if that's true school, then that's what I like to
Well, I
categorize.
think it's just the overall sound I hear is true school. You know what I mean? With the beat
Yeah,
combination and the way you're rhyming. You know what I
I
mean?
agree.
It's
I
just
agree.
like,
Yeah, I mean,
you know
it
what I
is.
mean?
Yeah,
Which isn't a bad thing. I mean,
it's not.
it's
It's not.
that's a
It's
very
not at
big
all. Like,
compliment for
I'm
me.
not defending it like it is. I just like, I like being
I know
versatile,
people
but
don't want to
at
be
the
put
end
in
of
a
the day,
box. I understand that
yeah,
you don't want to be put in a box. You know what I mean? I totally understand that. And you know, you can do stuff outside of that. I just felt like what I heard, I mean, I didn't hear everything,
it's
but
real
what
though.
I heard,
You're real. It's real. Yeah, it's true. It's true school.
my
Keeping it
designer,
classy. Yeah, you know.
my designer who did the artwork, you haven't seen it yet. It's just your picture with the Leedz podcast on it. I sent it to him, and he hit me back with it, and he's like, "Yo, I never heard of this dude. I just checked out his music. It's incredible."
Word. That's what's
So, you
up.
know, so you know, he's never said that to me before. So
That's dope. Yeah, shout outs to him, man. Thank you,
yeah,
man.
so
Yeah,
I mean,
we keeping it a buck, baby. You know what I mean? Like, we were just spitting bars over dope beats, man. And I'm happy that you do feel that true school feel, because honestly, that is part of what I go for, and part of where it all comes from. You know what I
I
mean?
mean,
It's just being true to yourself, being true to this art form. You know?
be true to, you know, you said the two things that are important. You said true to yourself and true to the art form. You know, me and you are from eras where you don't copy somebody. You know, that's biting. KRS-One straight up said biting, right? Not that not people didn't do it, and there's not influence in some ways to create your sound. Sometimes your voice just happens to sound like somebody else's. But
Mm-hmm.
we're in an era, and I'm hopefully coming out of an era where there's just a mass influx of copycat MCs, and it's like, man, there's not, you know, what is inside of you that's different from somebody else. I keep saying this is your competitive edge. You know, like what your message is, what is inside you, and then can you deliver it in a musical way that sounds good? That's
Mm-hmm.
what's going to make you stand out and be different. I mean, who wants to hear someone that sounds like somebody else when that originator does it better? It's not going to work. You know, certain beats and sounds kind of work, and you know, may sound modern or whatever you want to say, or on a radio, whatever format is playing it. But all in all, your originality and what you bring different and unique to the table is going to be your competitive edge.
100%. 100%.
You
And
know?
that's where that's where, I feel confident in myself and my squad. You know what I mean? Because we have that. You know what I mean? We
Right.
we we have that wittiness, we have that originality, we have that, yo, who are these dudes type energy.
Right.
You know what I
The
mean?
name
Like,
alone, DirtyDurdie. I was like, what the?
exactly. Exactly, man. And again, we've been blessed to like open up for so many people and just spread the word and our message within the New England region. I think at this point, like you can throw us anywhere in the country and we're gonna rock it, bro. You know what I
And that
mean?
region, that you're in, is not an easy region to do hip hop and make a name for yourself in. It's a
And
much
to stay
smaller
irrelevant.
section.
Yeah, and to stay
That's
relevant.
a
Absolutely.
that's a
Yes.
very the difference between Providence and Boston. Let's just say Providence and Boston is massive difference. Like Boston is 3 times popular
Yeah.
density than Rhode Island.
Yep.
I know this because I've done shows in Rhode Island and I've done shows in Boston. Providence is a smaller, much smaller market. Never
Yeah.
mind New Bedford,
Yeah.
which is even smaller, closer to Rhode Island. So, I mean, for you to do you guys thing and Third Eye and all that come out of there, man,
Thank
props.
you.
Because I've been here for 20 years and I haven't heard much come out of there except you guys.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, man.
Not that I have my
Thank you.
ear out there, but it's like what you guys accomplished is impressive.
Thank you, man. And that there are some heads out from New Bedford, like my man Khalif, my man Mikey Life, Sialot. There's a couple of heads out there who are making noise too. So I just want to give them a shout out from New Bedford.
Yeah, I'm sure there
You
is.
know what
I
I'm
just,
saying?
I
Yeah.
apologize to anybody that's doing moves that I didn't mention, but it's
Nah. Yeah.
there's a lot of MCs and a lot of things going on, but New Bedford's
You
not
know?
far away from it.
Yeah, and shout outs to Providence too. You know what I mean? Obviously, like we've been out there. They are our second home. We came into Rhode Island like complete UFOs. Again, like they were on some who are these dudes, bro? Like, and they accepted us with open arms. We were like the black sheep of that whole movement back from New Bedford because there was a lot of activism behind us, and we kind of went not the other way, but we wanted to, instead of going to rallies, we were like, you know what? Our music is going to be our rally. You know what I mean? Like our music is going to be our way that we talk to the people and our way that we protest. Because me and Demean come from that cloth of activism and community outreach and just being on the grassroots end of things and using the music. And before we got burnt out, we were like, nah, like let's really use the music for it. And it's been working in our favor thus far. You know what I mean? Like, to be where we are off the music, it's beautiful, and to see us continue to grow in other facets of business outside of music is even better.
Now you talk about activism, but you say I've seen you say like you kind of rap or work with like a freedom fighter mentality. Can you just embellish on that a little more and talk more about what that means?
Well, I mean, I've always been a person to question authority. You know what I mean? Even as a teenager. So
Shocker.
that's, yeah, you know what I mean? Like not on
hip hopper that questions authority. Never heard that one.
Yeah. Well, how dare So like, I've always been like, yo, does this make sense? Like just learning about history, doing my research diligently, and having that fire of wanting change. You know what I mean? Just being inspired to know that I am being lied to, and there's truth out here that needs to be sought. And being one of those people has always guided me down this path, because the root word of conspiracy is to conspire. You know what I mean? So like, I don't believe in that word or conspiracy, like a conspiracy theorist, because there's a reason why something is a lie in that situation. You know what I'm saying? So that's why there's a reason for someone to conspire. So I've always been that guy that gravitated towards that type of hip hop too, like the Killer Priests and the Jizzes and the Dead Prez. Like when Dead Prez came out, I was in high school, so that really inspired me. Learning these things through our music inspired me. So I'm like, all right, well, what are they talking about? Because this is the days before Google, before you could go online and just search something in a random TikTok search engine and get crazy results. Like you had to dig. You know what I mean? Like if you thought there was something wrong, you had to really search for those answers. So I came from that era. You know what I mean? So the passion in me to want change for my people, to see how my community was affected by certain things and wanting to be an inspiration to people. You know, that's the main thing. Like making people feel like they can make it, you know, coming from the same area that I am. Like, hey, I could do that. I could change my life. I can pivot and detour and, you know, live a healthy life and go the righteous path and not do the regular negativity that's always out here, you know?
Right. That's dope, man. Outside of hip hop, you know, what you invested or you started L's? Is that what this is? L's, hand rolled blunts. What are we talking about? What's your role in that? Are you owner or?
Yeah, me and Ice, we are part of a entity called L's, out in Rhode Island.
ELZ.
ELZ.
Yeah.
Yes, they are premium pre-rolled blunts infused with THC oil. Without giving too much information right now, we are in several dispensaries in Rhode Island, and it's a pretty cool opportunity, man.
Infused pre-rolled leaves is what I read.
Yes. Hemp leaves, glass filter. It's a beautiful product. And they are handmade by myself and my partner. And yeah, man,
How many of these things are you rolling a day?
too many.
How many? I gotta know how many.
Hundreds, man, hundreds.
Wow.
Definitely hundreds. Yeah, man.
You're
It's
hand
a
rolling
labor.
100 L's a day.
More than that, probably. It's a labor of love for sure. You know what I mean?
Oh, no, there's got to be money involved. It's more than love. You're not rolling 100 bullets for the love, dog.
He's like, this ain't no open mic night, bro.
Yo, you rapping for the labor. Rapping is a labor of love. This hand roll blunts thing is fucking paper.
I hear you. Nah, yeah. I mean, you know, we're gonna see where it goes. You know, we'll see where it goes. But right now, we're in the state of Rhode Island. It's pretty dope, and
is this legal?
Rhode Island is legal. Yes, it's kind of like
Massachusetts.
So you could just go into the dispensaries and buy. All you need is an ID that's valid. You know, but it is legal in Rhode Island right now.
Cool, because I'm from the era where it wasn't illegal, so I'm always blown away. I don't smoke weed anymore, but I was always blown away at how legal and
I'm blown away every day. I've been blown away for years. I'm like, I can't believe like I used to be scared to drive around, and now no one really even cares.
I was thrown in jail. I was thrown in jail
a lot of
with
people.
like.
A lot of people were thrown in jail.
No, I didn't get not like a sentence to jail, but arrested and thrown into jail and then court case and luckily beat it. But yeah, I went through all that because of my love for the L's.
Love for the craft.
It wasn't a labor of love, I'll tell you.
No doubt, man. Yeah.
What? Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it's crazy to see like the state, the country finally realizing how, you know, people have always
they can make.
People try to demonize this plant for so many years while pharmaceuticals are literally killing people. You know what I mean? So it's like, again, you know, trying to be the activist's role, because there's a lot of medicinal purposes to this plant. There's a lot of benefits that people have health-wise for this plant. And there's been a lot of people trying to make these moves happen. And, you know, it's about time. You know, that I kind of look at it as like in the prohibition era where people were worried about liquor. It's almost the same thing with this plant now. You know what I mean? And hopefully it'll get to the point where you could do it as openly as you can with alcohol. And to me, like I grew up in households and know of households where alcohol destroyed it. I never heard of marijuana doing that. You know what I mean? So like, and that's just my personal opinion, you know what I mean? Like, and it's just crazy how things can be cited and the goalposts can be moved depending on where someone's aim is. You know what I mean?
Well, I heard that the big issue with legalizing it federally is that they can't monitor how it's made. So people can lace it or throw shit in there. I heard that's one of the big issues because the FDA Food Drug Administration.
Well,
And
that's the beauty with it being legalized through the state, because the state has
yeah,
to test and clear everything. So dispensaries are a safer route to purchase these plants. You know
right,
what I mean? Because there are logistics that have to get met through the state to make sure it is safe. So
right.
again, there's ways of this industry is growing, as you could tell, and
Oh yeah.
hopefully it'll get to the point where it's federally legal. But right now it's just state to state, and states are doing whatever they can. And Massachusetts has been doing a great job, even though it's kind of like the wild, wild west out here with with that industry and so many dispensaries popping up. But it's still a good thing. You know what I mean?
Well, it
Because
depends
people
where you
still
are
buy.
because it depends where you are because you can be in a city that has one, right? But then you go out to Worcester and there's 15.
Like 18, yeah. So it's like
Yeah, you
some
know.
places are, just like, some places are oversaturating the market. It's like any other business, like people see the money, and a lot of people want to attack and get it. And you know what I mean? Like, more power to them. You know what I mean? But
I
right
remember when
now,
I went out to Denver, right, kind of like about 8 years ago, 9 years ago, when it was when they were one of the only states that was legal at the time. New England, nothing was legal yet. And I just remember it was like a dispensary, like liquor stores. They were everywhere. It was like boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? And it was
yeah,
like,
man.
wow. My
Yeah, but
buddy,
what's
shout out Sly Young, he was managing one. And I was shocked. I was shocked, dude. I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, the West Coast definitely are the innovators. You know what I mean? Denver, Cali, like cities,
Yeah,
like
I was in
states
Denver.
like that. Like it's dope, man, to have it finally stretch out. Because again, it has its medicinal purposes. Some people might not like it. It might not be for them, and that's perfectly cool. Like for me, I'm a bartender, being 2.5 years sober. You know what I mean? So I totally get it. If it ain't for you, it ain't for you. Like right now, liquor isn't for me. You know what I mean? But when I'm in these environments, people are like, yeah, take a shot. What do you mean? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm still blessed to have discipline and my composure to not only serve alcohol to clients at my other job, but to not drink it. It's
Right.
kind of tough.
It's tough. It's tough to
It's
be a
very,
bartender and not drink.
it's very
I've been
tough.
sober. I've been completely sober for like 14 years now, almost. And
Congratulations, man.
thank you. And but I never could bartend. That was the one thing I was like, I could work in these clubs and I can work in these clubs and promote these shows and do what I got to do, but I'm not serving freaking drinks.
No doubt.
It's on your hand. And I was like, no, no
A
way,
lot.
dude. I'm not doing that.
You deal with a
Uh,
lot of nonsense with drunk people, and people don't realize the responsibility you have for their life as a bartender. You know what I mean? Like knowing what cues they are, whether they're getting mad. What do you mean? I'm not drunk. Yeah, you are. You know what I mean? So
you
like,
get a lot of trouble. You can get in a lot of trouble. You overserve somebody, they go crash their car, get a DWI. That's coming back
you
on
could
you.
go to jail. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
that comes
depending
back on
on the
you.
situation. Yeah,
I
it's
can't tell you how
dangerous.
many times I worked at the Middle East when we would get people leaving the show, they would get DWIs and it come back and haunt us. Or like, and you know what? It was times where they take drugs and all types of other shit. There was stuff that was even beyond our control. Like someone would show up at the Middle East, have a couple drinks, go to another bar, get loaded there, drive from that place and say I was at the Middle East when they went to another place. You know
Exactly.
what I mean? So it's like, it was always
Yeah, you
like this
guys must have
freaking
had a crazy target on your backs for a while.
always,
Damn, man.
always.
And
Um,
speaking of Middle East, man, I want to take this time to give you your flowers, man, because to
oh
be
no.
honest, when we talk about hip hop in New England, if it wasn't for Leeds and what you've done at that facility, a lot of hip hop would probably skip us, like you know what I mean? Like a lot of touring acts would just not even probably look this way. So like again, thank you for continuing to bring dope hip hop this way. Like that Little Brother show was incredible, man. I haven't felt
Oh
that since freaking before COVID, bro. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
I gotta
Like
show you
this.
something.
Oh man, oh no. Yo, Little Brother is my favorite group of all time. Oh, and
Check
they
this.
signed it.
I got
Yeah,
the signed Little Brother. I know this is the
nice.
first time I ever did this, and that's stupid because I should have been doing it all these years. I got the Little Brother show signed by them both, as well as Sky Zoo.
Fire,
Poster.
fire.
So
That was such a great
I don't,
show.
like I
No,
said, I have a lot of show posters, but I never got them signed.
that's what's up, man. Yeah, especially the fact that there was no opening acts. It was just them two. It was beautiful. I loved
Trust
it.
me,
You know what I
I
mean?
tried to get at least one local on there,
They were
but they
like,
were
nope.
like, well, they were holding off, and then they added Sky. I didn't know what they were doing, but we were trying to get someone on there. Like we wanted someone dope on there, obviously. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was
But
a
it just
beautiful show, man, and it made me more confident in hip hop. You know what I mean? Like, yo, people showed out that night, man. You know what I
sold
mean?
out.
And it was beautiful. Yeah, it was beautiful. So again, thank you for
Grown man
continuing to
rap.
do that,
We
man. Yeah.
you come out, you hear us
You
rap,
hear
you take
rap
your
and
ass
go
home.
home. Yup, exactly. Motherfuckers getting old.
Everyone's like,
Yup. He's like, yo, he told the truth. Yeah, it felt good. Yeah, it felt good, man. It was beautiful. You know.
yeah, and that's funny because that show was supposed to happen before COVID. I booked it myself, and I was like, this was a big deal. It's like little brother reunion, right? Minus
Yeah.
obviously Ninth Wonder, but it was well, like everyone was so excited, and then COVID hit, and that one got canceled. And luckily, it came back. I didn't. The club took over because I wasn't booking shows, but the club took after COVID. But the club took over, and we still did it. But it was awesome. I felt like I
Yeah.
was back at the Middle East, and it was like the old days again, with that
Yeah,
show.
it felt really good, man.
Because it was a
Yeah.
sold out. I hadn't seen it that packed in a while, like all the way to the back. That was like
Yeah.
that reminded me of the old days.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. It felt great, man. So
Well,
again,
thanks
thank
for
you for your
coming to these
contribution,
shows.
man.
I mean, I wouldn't have been able to do all these shows if you and everybody didn't show up to them.
No doubt, man. Hey, keep them pumping and we'll be there, man. You know what I'm saying?
Nowadays, I'm not booking much. I'm just promoting. But
True.
I want to talk
But
about you.
your inspiration still is out there and still
Oh, thank you.
is encouraging and makes people, hopefully someone picks up after that, you know what I mean, and follows the lead, you know what I mean? No pun intended.
No, I hope somebody does. It's a tough job to do though in this climate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
As you
is.
know, because you are also let's see, is it event manager, obviously bartender as well at the Troop in
Yes.
Providence, correct? Talk about
Yup.
that job and how that all came to be.
Oh man, True PVD is dope restaurant. It's been around for about 5 years. They specialize in unique street food that is infused from different cultures. So they'll basically take like ingredients from one culture, mix it with another. So they'll take like some French cuisine, mix it with Hispanic, and then they also tie in the music. So like for me being a fan first of this establishment, I used to go there to get food as well as get vibes because they used to have the dopest parties there, dope shows. They do live shows, live entertainment, and they play hip hop during dinner. Like I could literally, while I'm working, listen to Tribe Called Quest while I'm serving somebody. You know what I mean? So for a head like me, I'm like, man, this place is heaven, and everything is made in house, made from scratch. Everything is curated to the finest degree, from the cocktails to the sauces. Shout outs to all the co-owners
It's all
over
about
there.
the sauce. It's all
Yeah,
about
it's
the
all about the
sauce.
sauce,
I
man.
always say that anyone can learn how to cook things a certain way, but to make a good sauce, that takes a set. That's a special talent.
Yeah, man, and shout outs to everybody over there holding it down. It's a beautiful establishment. I got the opportunity around like COVID when stuff started opening up to be the in-house event manager to help assist with that. And with my history and just event coordinating, I was like, this is perfect. So like I got to get to know a lot of the DJs in the Rhode Island scene. We've done a lot of cool stuff, and I also got to know a lot of bands, a lot of different types of artists from different genres besides hip hop. We do a poetry night. We were doing like trivia. We were doing comedy, but unfortunately, we had to move on to other things. But they also are cool at letting me test the waters with different events. A lot of places, don't like taking those risks on seeing what does and what doesn't work. But Troop is very community based, and they were like, yeah, let's try it out. If it works for the people, then it works. If it doesn't, let's try something different. So we've done I've done a freestyle battle over there that popped off. We've done genre parties between DJs, like new school versus old school. We have a reggae night, we have a Cape Verdean night, a Latin night. It's so diverse in so many different facets. Again, from the style of how they cook the food, from the ingredients to the prepping of it, to the style of cooking, the drinks, the music, the vibe, the colors, the people. it's a beautiful place. So I highly recommend anyone who wants some good brunch or some good dinner or some good drinks to head to True PVDs, 60 Valley Street, Onlyville, Providence area. Um, yeah, we're open 5 days a week. You'll see me there most of the time at night, serving or just vibing out, you know?
So you're rolling L's by the day, and then you're going to bartend and coordinate events at Troop.
Yup.
And you have a kid?
While making music and being a dad. Yep. I wouldn't want it any other way, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm blessed to be alive, blessed to be having these opportunities. So I'm just moving forward with it, man. You know what I mean?
Well, salute to you, brother. I want to really thank you for coming through. It's been great connecting with you and seeing your
Um,
rise and, you know, see what you're accomplishing down there, because it's not easy, but you're doing a great job.
Thank you very much, man. I truly appreciate this time and to
Yeah,
share with you and to build with you even more, man. Like I really appreciate it, man. Shout out
no
to all the
doubt, man.
party people out there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to the Leeds Edutainment Podcast with very special guest, Lord Gremithy. Thank you, brother. We'll talk soon.
Absolutely. Peace, bro.
Peace.
Later.